For the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Last night at the Garden, the Knicks beat the Pacers 97-91, a game that saw the Knicks come up with 14 steals, tying a season high, 5 apiece by Patrick Ewing and Greg Anthony. Not an artistic, classic type ball game. Neither club shot well. The Knicks were in foul trouble throughout. Could not establish an offensive rhythm, but had enough down the stretch to pull it out. We're set now for the Hertz starting lineups. Let's join with the public address.
Live from Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. At the other forward, 6'10", 244 from Pittsburgh, number 54, Charles Smith. At center, 7 feet 240 from Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. At one guard, 6'2", 185 from Nevada, Las Vegas, number 50, Greg Anthony. At the other guard, 6'6", 206 from Kansas State, number 20, Rolando Blackman. The head coach, Pat Riley, assisted by Dick Harder and Jeff Van Gundy, with trainer Mike Saunders, assistant trainer Tim Walsh, and strength coach Greg Brittenham. The New York Knicks. And now, here's tonight's starting lineup for your Indiana Pacers. At one forward, 6'11", 230 from Clemson, number 32, Jale Davis. At the other forward, 6'10", 230 from Washington, number 11, Detlef Schrempf. At center, 7'4", 265 from Maris, number 45, Rick Smith. At one guard, 6'1", 180 from UCLA, number 24, Hugh Richardson. And at the other guard, 6'7", 185 from UCLA, number 31, Reggie Miller. From head coach Bo Hill, assisted by Ed Badger, Bob Osipka, and Randy Whitman, with trainer David Craig and his assistant Kevin Johnson, your Indiana Pacers.
Well, for the Pacers, following the good stretch, winning 5 straight, these have been troubled times. The 4 straight losses, 6 defeats the last 8 games. Indiana has also been hit by a series of injuries. John talked about the Indiana problems with their coach, Bob Hill.
The spirit of good sportsmanship, the national...
Well, George McLeod and Kenny Williams weren't available last night. They both have sprained ankles, and George is better tonight, so I'm going to be able to give him some minutes. We're a running team. You know, we didn't run last night. We got to get the ball off the board and out of the basket and get it back out on top of New York if we can, and move them and play our game. We pretty much played their game last night and still almost won the game. So, and that was a pleasing feeling to leave there, and we had physically held our ground against this team, because they are very physical and a terrific team. So we got to play our style of basketball.
That seems to be the focus of a lot of teams these days, dealing with the Knicks physically, and Bob Hill was pleased in that area. The execution, Marv, undoubtedly should be better for them tonight, so the Knicks better rise themselves.
The officials are Darryl Garretson, Joe DeRosa, Don Baden. And we're getting ready for the opening tip. It will be Patrick Ewing and Dale Davis. Rick Smith does not go on the opening tip. And the Knicks control. Anthony and Blackman. At the guards, Oakley, Smith, and Ewing up front. Charles Smith going right at Detlef Schrempf, rebounded by Rick Smith.
See the strength of Detlef Schrempf. He was not about to be bowled over by Charles.
Here's Hugh Richardson. Davis. And Richardson. Ewing got a piece of it. It'll be Indiana ball with 6 on the 24. Schrempp with the running hook. And a loose ball foul on Anthony.
Dale Davis has good jumping ability. He has a lot of spring, and he was behind Oakley and still got that rebound.
Richardson drawing the double team, getting it to Davis. And here is Schrempp.
Beautifully set up by Pooh Richardson.
Knicks last night did an excellent job against Detlef Schrempp. He was not able to get off the shots he was looking for. Attempted 12, hit 5 of 12, did it for the most part from the free throw line. Anthony, so Greg Anthony picking right up on the shooting touch he displayed last night. Career high 23 points for Anthony.
Ewing showed unusual vision on that play, picking out Anthony.
Reggie Miller. Pacers 4 and the Knicks 2. Blackman played by Miller. Smith drawing the double team. And Charles Smith has tied the game at 4. Smith's trying to flash in the lane, then comes up high to set the pick. Oakley on the switch playing Smiths. Schrempp for Smiths.
Charles Smith did a great job denying the baseline drive attempt by Schrempp. I mean, he really did a terrific job getting that foot in there, but the nice response in that pass to Smiths worked well for the Pacers.
Ewing, yes. And the foul. Patrick Ewing hitting on his opening jump shot, and the foul called on Richardson.
Nice look by Charles Oakley. Soft pass to Patrick. And he again goes to the jump shot that he presented so often last night to Indiana.
Last 5 games, Patrick Ewing shooting just under 60%. He has picked it up. Knicks with a 7-6 lead. And Schrempp trying to get the bounce pass off was pushed by Smith. Last night, the Knicks had foul difficulty right throughout. 3 Knicks fouled out, including Charles Smith.
Very difficult man to guard for Charles Smith because Schrempp, who I refer to, is so mobile.
Very quiet crowd here in the early going. Dale Davis was fouled. Patrick Ewing called for that foul on Davis, who has been on a tremendous roll off the boards, averaging 14 rebounds per game the last 3 games. That's his game, rebounding and shot blocking. Led the ACC in rebounding at Clemson 3 straight seasons. He's made it back from shoulder surgery, and he's been in the starting lineup right from the opening game.
Referring last night to Donnie Walsh, who I incorrectly referred to as the general manager of the Pacers, he is the team president. He feels that Dale Davis could be a better Buck Williams as his career develops.
So the Pacers take an 8-7 lead. Pressure by Indiana. Oakley, yes. Well, Charles lining it up, had the open shot, was able to drill it home. The Knicks lead 9-8. Nice look. Davis for the reverse stuff. Pacers take a 1-point lead. Anthony able to shake off the pressure from Davis. Well, ever since the Bulls successfully trapped the Knicks on Friday night, particularly down early going in the 3rd quarter, Knicks have seen quite a bit of pressure. Milwaukee tried it. We saw Indiana do it last night. Pacers have come out throwing the trap at the Knicks here in the early going.
Knicks going into a set play with Charles Oakley flinging that ball over Smith's head.
And the foul is called on Reggie Miller. Miller in that collision with Oakley is called for the personal. Rick Anthony setting it up. Charles Smith will go to the foul line. Foul committed by Detlef Schrempf. Detlef Schrempf these days in the starting lineup for the Pacers. Last season won the sixth-man award for the second straight year.
Charles Smith is greeting Schrempf with tremendous aggressiveness himself. Every time he's gotten the ball, he's trying to drive it to the basket and then comes back to the jump shot if he can't get the drive. But that's going to be an interesting matchup between those two, both of whom can dribble a ball successfully to the basket, and both of whom have very good jump shots. It would seem that the man who commits the most fouls is going to determine the outcome of that matchup.
Knicks by 1. 3.5 gone by in the first quarter. Art Smith with an open shot again. Rick Smits had a very difficult night last night at Madison Square Garden. Did not play much in the second half. Illegal defense called for the first time against Indiana. In fact, last night, Bob Hill went with a small lineup for most of the fourth quarter, stayed away from both Smits and Dreiling.
He was disappointed in Rick Smits' play last night, which is why he didn't play for the second half. 1 rebound in 20 minutes of play just isn't enough for a big man like Rick.
Miller with the lead for Davis. And Ewing with the rebound. Smith posting up, gets it back to Anthony. Richardson on the run. Here's Miller. And Schrempf able to get to it. Here's Richardson for Schrempf. Good look by Schrempf. And the foul. Patrick Ewing called for his second.
Foul on the play on Patrick Ewing, second.
This is why it's so much fun playing with Detlef Schrempf. That ball moves around and comes back to him at the foul line for a foul shot. I mean, that's easy for him. But no, he sees Davis in much better position. Davis with the good spring jumps over the defense, succeeds, and draws the foul.
Dale Davis only a 48% free throw shooter, but he's hit the free throws here in the first quarter. And back comes Reggie Miller. And a traveling violation call. So it will be Nick Ball.
Pressure continues on Anthony from Richardson, trying to knock seconds off the 24-second clock, trying to delay the Knicks' beginning of their offense.
Indiana 15, Knicks 11. Smith set the pick. Schrempf switching off to Anthony. Shot clock at 1. Anthony. Last touch by Oakley. And a timeout call by the Pacers. 6:39 remaining first quarter.
After weeknight Nick and Ranger home games, catch Sports Talk, sports news, and much more. Live from the play-by-play with Mike.
Unselfish play by the Indiana Pacers here tonight. Schrempf out high at 6'10". He can look over most defenders. Charles Oakley goes for the steal. No one's there to protect him, and Davis has a slam dunk.
And Indiana dominating off the boards. They've out-rebounded the Knicks 7-1. Smits with the jump hook. Well, Rick Smits off to the fast start after the poor performance last night, and the Pacers lead 17-11. Here's Blackman. Yes, Rolando Blackman has been on a roll. 8 for 14, 18 points last night. Last 4 games, he's averaging just under 19 per game. And Miller came up short, and he's shaken up. Reggie Miller's hurt. Blackman and Smith keeps it alive. Reggie Miller hobbling back. And a foul called on Indiana. It's on Schrempf. That's his second.
Knicks are putting great pressure on Schrempf by getting the ball to Charles Smith down low.
Detlef Schrempf listed at 6'10". Charles Smith listed at 6'10", but it appears that Charles has an inch or more on him. Herb Williams, who just came on with a nice move. The one-time Indiana Pacer, Herb Williams, checking in, replacing Patrick Ewing following that timeout.
Yes, he was traded here for none other than the Knicks' Herb Williams. Herb was a member of the Indiana Pacers, and Schrempf was with the Dallas Mavs, and that trade took place 4 years ago.
Smith, Schrempf, Richardson for Davis. Good fast break by the Pacers. They now lead 19-15. Knicks have Anthony and Blackman in the backcourt. Oakley, Williams, Smith up front. Anthony Mason, John Starks getting set to come on. And a foul is called. It's on Smith's, a holding foul.
It's interesting, when Charles Oakley gets the ball out at the top of the circle, the defense is allowing him a good 6 feet. I mean, they want him to take that outside shot. Charles shows no interest in doing that.
So Mason and Starks have come on. John Starks for Anthony Mason. Yes. 1917 Indiana. John Starks the last week has been bothered by stomach flu. Was able to play through it the last couple of games. Gave the club a lift last night. Starks ahead of the field.
Thank you, Herb Williams. John Starks with a quick breakaway, and Herb Williams was right on him.
Game tied at 19. Here's Miller. Reggie Miller allowed to penetrate along the baseline. Indiana 21, the Knicks 19. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Marv Albert with John Andres from the Market Square Arena in Indianapolis. Second of the home and home set. So unusual to see home and home series in the NBA. Talking about it, there's Schrempf drawing the foul. Chatting with Walt Clyde Frazier about it. He said in his day he did not like the home and home series, and felt that usually if a team would win at home in the first game, as the Knicks did last night, they'd be down. There'd be a letdown for the second of the home and home, particularly after traveling and with the win in their pocket, and the fact that it's more pressure on the Indiana. There's Clyde in the informal look, broadcasting with Mike Green on the Madison Square Garden Radio Network.
Yes, Clyde, in the early days of the NBA, particularly, there was a lot of Friday night, or I should say Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon televised games in the next city. Very tough on the NBA bodies in those days.
Herb Williams. So Herb Williams with his second field goal. Herb spent 7.5 years with the Indiana Pacers, a #1 draft pick of Indiana back in 1981. Reggie Miller getting inside.
Detlef Schrempf with amazing pinpoint accuracy delivering that ball underneath.
Pacers lead 25-21 in contrast to the low scoring last night. Both clubs shooting well in the first quarter.
Gentlemen, please direct your attention to the video screens for
Introducing the Bud Light Jaguar Racing Team. Catch it this season.
Up 25-21. Knicks getting great relief off the bench, as usual, from Herb Williams. He rebounds. He throws the long pass right on target to John Starks right after he had gotten into the game. Looking now at the Pacers' all-time rebounders. Herb Williams, #4. Mel Daniels now with the Indiana Pacers in a coaching capacity. Coach McGinnis certainly left a legacy here.
Some good old ABA names. Bob Nedelicki, Darnell Hillman. Pacers lead by 4. Just under 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Starks flashing down low. Oh, was he walloped by LaSalle Thompson, who just checked in, and Oakley goes at Thompson. And that's a flagrant foul. LaSalle Thompson has a reputation for giving hard fouls, which are not usually appreciated by the opposition.
Well, the same works for Charles Oakley of the Knicks. We see Starks going in. He got rocked. And Charles Oakley jumps right into the situation there in his protecting role.
Yes, Charles did dish one out last night. Starks hitting 1 out of 2 on the flagrant foul. And it will be Knick possession. 25-22, Indiana with the lead.
Let's point out, too, Marv, that the way John Starks drives to the basket, that kind of play can happen. He attacks the basket with abandon without regard to the defense. He's willing to take the hit.
Richardson off the steal to the spin. Rebound Schrempf. Last touch by the Knicks. Indiana now with a front line of Smits, Thompson, and Schrempf. Miller and Richardson in the backcourt. Richardson with the step, rejected by Oakley. Shot clock at 10. Thompson eluding the double team, and Oakley with the rebound. Anthony and Starks breaking ahead of the field. Good hustle by Schrempf. Well, the Pacers able to put a stop to that fast break attempt.
2 minutes.
2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Greg Anthony.
Nicely set up with Greg Anthony and his teammates, giving Greg an opportunity to get an open jump shot.
Here's Thompson. Indiana leads 27-24. Battle between Thompson and Mason. And LaSalle Thompson calls for the push.
That is the kind of foul that the NBA officiating staff is onto these days, where the defender uses his knee from behind to push the big man out of the way. Coming across the lane now, you'll see LaSalle Thompson riding Mason with that right knee, trying to push him out further.
Both the Knicks and Pacers are over the limit. Anthony Mason has dipped a bit in terms of his offense in recent games. There's Malik Sealy, who played so well last night in his Madison Square Garden professional debut. Had a career-high 16 points. We chatted with Malik on Knicks game night earlier and said he had to round up about 40 tickets for friends and family in the New York area. Malik from the Bronx. Smits trying to go glass. Mason with the rebound. Here comes Starks. Thompson back. Mason with the open shot. Schrempf to the rebound with 1 minute to go in this first quarter. Indiana with a 1-point lead. Schrempf feeling around for Mason. And Anthony comes up with it. Ball knocked away from Smits. Starks with a dangerous pass, picked off by Schrempf.
Yes, court passes invite too many hands.
And that will count. The goaltend on Herb Williams, so Sealy gets credit for the field goal. Indiana leading 29-26, 25 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Knicks nursing the clock, down to 15. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Starks. Final seconds of the quarter. Sealy after 1 here in Indianapolis. Indiana Pacers 29, New York Knicks 26. Perhaps 1 or 2 are in cities. I won't give that away. Who led the league in fouls over the past 5 years. Can you tell me who those 3 are?
Let's see. I remember Grant Long was a bad guy. And
3 in this building.
Tyrone Hill. Oh, in this building.
Is Grant watching the game here
no,
somewhere?
I'm just recalling the rough players who had gotten foul trouble over the years. Let's see. I think the Knicks own Patrick Ewing was one of them.
That's true. Howie, I think you ought to put it up. The electronic wizard, Howie Singer, working the controls along with Bob Lewis, as you see the Old Spice leaders. And there they are, Sam Mitchell, Rick Smits, members of the Pacers, and Patrick Ewing.
They got to be
John, I knew if you had a little more time, you would have come up with it.
Guaranteed.
Not play at all last night, as checked in. Schrempf with a forced shot. George McLeod bothered by a sprained right ankle. Kenny Williams bothered by a sprained left ankle. Did not play last night. Williams is available for tonight. Patrick Ewing getting set to return. Sat down after picking up a second foul. Double up on Mason. Pops it out to Anthony. Crowd looking for a travel.
Anthony had plenty of time on that shot, and he should have taken it, no question.
McLeod guarded by Starks. Thompson. Wide open shot for LaSalle Thompson as Charles Oakley came out to help out on McLeod. Indiana leads 31-26.
Good signs for the Pacers. They're shooting the ball much better. Last night at the Garden, they only had 16 at the end of 1. Dale Davis slapping that shot attempt by Mason back.
Starks for 3. John Starks from downtown. Last night at the Garden in the first of this home and home, not a good one for the long-range jumper. The Knicks 0 for 8 from three-point range. Indiana 1 for 11. Here's Sealy. It was Malik Sealy last night who was able to convert Indiana's only three-pointer.
Meanwhile, Sealy feels mismatched when he's guarded by Starks, as he did with Anthony last night, and the Pacers got something out of it.
Indiana has a 4-point lead. And once again, we're watching Malik Sealy become a factor in this game as he was last night. Here's McLeod, who has good range. George McLeod, in his 4th year out of Florida State, at the end of last season, moved into the starting lineup. He's a streak shooter at times, will be on fire from long range. Indiana by 6.
Knicks have had Patrick Ewing at the scorer's desk trying to get in for a couple of minutes now.
Back comes Schrempf. Oh, beautiful pass by Schrempf. Off the dribble, on target for Sealy.
Well, when the defense sleeps, the passes look beautiful, and that's what the Knicks were doing on that play.
Pat Riley wants to talk it over. 9:19 remaining, second quarter. Indiana by 8.
There are plenty of light beers out
On, along with Charles Smith. Davis's pass picked off by Thompson. McLeod going behind the back. McLeod lost it, and it's kicked out last touch by the Knicks. So early appearance for the rookie from North Carolina, Hubert Davis. Here comes Sam Mitchell, replacing Detlef Schrempf, who had 4 points, 5 rebounds.
Well, with Charles Smith and Patrick Ewing on the bench now, the Pacers have opened up a little cushion for themselves of 8 points. Make that 10.
And the foul. Davis pushed by Mason. Hubert Davis also going up against the 6'8" George McLeod, although for the most part McLeod plays as a big guard.
But passes like that are easier for him to get in, to see the teammates that he has out there. He just looks right over Hubert.
Davis 3 for 3 from the line, although, as I mentioned earlier, not a good free throw shooter. 48% for the season. And it's recovered by Mitchell. Here's Sealy with the step. Smith one-hands the rebound. 14-5 run by the Pacers.
Unfortunately for the Knicks, Ewing had 2 fouls rather early, had to sit. The Knicks certainly missed him.
Good play by Sealy, coming over to knock it away.
That double team is automatic every time Ewing gets it. He's got to be careful.
And the ball goes back to New York. Rolando Blackman getting set to check back in.
Patrick got the ball down low. Wants to go across the middle, and Sealy comes in and disturbs him, takes the ball away.
Knicks with 6 turnovers here in the first half. They are down by 10. And that's the goaltend. The basket counts. So Patrick Ewing with his second field goal. He now has 5.
Well, Ewing now back to the basket. No problem for him looking over the defense. That's a wasted attempt at blocking. No question about that being a goaltend.
Sealy with the post-up move through the air ball. Starks around Sealy. Well, he thought he had Davis in the corner, but Hubert was cutting to the basket. Blackman is back, replacing Starks.
The Knicks have got to get into their league-leading defense now to try and stop the Pacers a bit, make their shot attempts a little more difficult.
And the matchup of Davis and McLeod. Ewing jumped out to help out. Now McLeod behind the three-point line. Here comes Ewing. Davis all the way. Back come the Pacers, led by Sealy. Ewing knocked it away, and last touch by Indiana.
Good play by Ewing. He was alert.
Patrick Ewing last night coming up with 5 steals, equaling a season high. Smith puts the move on Mitchell. Blackman and Davis with the rebound. So the Knicks shooting has been off here in the first half. Beautiful pass for Sealy. Malik Sealy with 8 points.
Ewing not happy with the massaging he's getting from LaSalle Thompson down low.
So the foul called on McLeod, and Sealy hears it from the crowd. Reggie Miller comes on. Malik 4 out of 7, 8 points. Patrick Ewing now 2 for 2 from the line.
This is where the Knicks have to shine tonight as the Pacers are off to a good start. The Knicks are leading the NBA in field goal percentage defense, 42%. Quite low for opponents of the Knicks. Tonight the Pacers are doing very well, making 50% of their shots.
6.5 remaining in the first half. Indiana with an 8-point lead. Miller guarded by Blackman. Mitchell given room by Smith. Thompson hand check by Ewing. Shot clock at 5. LaSalle Thompson going to the hook and then recovers. Hook from closer in, not able to hit. And a hold on George McLeod. John, last year, George McLeod suffered the most bizarre injury of the NBA season. It seems he sustained a severe ankle sprain while talking on the phone. It seems during the playoffs he was talking at length on the phone with his feet crossed, and he was sitting down at the time. When he stood up, he tore adhesions in his ankle. That is one of the wilder injuries. Blackman cuts it to a 6-point Indiana lead.
Well, I'm sure everybody that heard that story thought it was humorous, except George.
Here's Smits. Rick Smits has shown the touch tonight. He is 4 out of 5. He has 8 points. Indiana 43, Knicks 35. Ewing was hacked. Fouled by Dale Davis. Patrick Ewing to the line. Here's Pooh Richardson checking back in.
Well, the Pacers team tonight doesn't represent anything of the showing they put on last night at the Garden. Rick Smits looking good. He's had the touch throughout this game.
Very listless performance as described by their coach Bob Hill. And the loss last night made it 6 defeats the last 8 games. They've lost 4 in a row. They've dropped 1 under 500 at 13 and 14. This is a Pacer team that in recent years has gotten off to bad starts, and then they've come on late in the season. That's the scenario the last 2 years.
That's impressive. No hesitation by Smits. He looked for the cutter. It wasn't a logical pass to make, so he spins and takes the shot and makes it.
Indiana by 8. Last year, Pacers finished at 40 and 42, fourth in the Central, made the playoffs, and were knocked out of it on the first round, swept by the Boston Celtics 3 games to nothing. Dale Davis for Pooh Richardson. Richardson now guarded by Hubert Davis. Smits again. He's on fire.
What's impressive is the speed with which he's getting the shot up and in.
10-point Indiana lead. Here's Ewing. Rejected by Davis. Now Hubert Davis. The save handled by Hubert Davis, and he's fouled.
Hubert is tough. He's not afraid of contact, but the fans here in Indiana are delighted with what they're seeing and the defense that their team is putting forth.
Sam Mitchell called for that foul, sending Hubert Davis to the line. Hubert Davis getting the playing time here in the second quarter. Played only 1 minute last night. Hubert now 12 for 16 from the line for the season.
Hubert expects to make every foul shot. He was quite disappointed on that miss.
Indiana 47, the Knicks 38. 4:20 remaining first half. Pressure by Davis against Richardson.
Does well staying with Richardson.
Smits. Rick Smits turning it from the performance last night. He has hit 7 out of 8 from the field. Indiana leads by 11. Ewing for the drop step and called for a shuffle of the feet. Traveling violation. And he was played very well by Smits.
The Pacers are doing an excellent job in transition, and with their vastly improved shooting tonight, their defense is matching that effort.
Greg Anthony has returned for the Knicks. Here's Smits. Blackman. Knicks able to get the new 24. Charles Smith. Mason and Mitchell got involved. Foul called on Mason.
I don't understand, and it happens all the time, why fouls are called when 2 players are going straight up in the air for the ball and there's some contact. I just think that should be a non-foul situation, Marv.
Well, as an enforcer-type player in your day, I understand your point of view. Forget the whistle.
I mean, nobody has the edge in a play like that. There's just contact.
I think you and Rod Thorne and Darryl Garretson should get together and talk philosophy.
Well, Rod's an even-minded guy. I have to check him on that.
Here's Richardson with the fadeaway, and he was pushed by Anthony. Pooh Richardson sat out 5 games with a pulled groin muscle, returned in the game Saturday night against the Chicago Bulls, so this is only his 3rd game back. Pooh Richardson, part of that major deal with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Pooh and Sam Mitchell coming over to Chuck Person and Michael Williams. Pooh Richardson, 4th NBA season out of UCLA. Through all of Minnesota's troubles, he was the constant with the Timberwolves. Very consistent, solid player.
He's being asked to do more things here. It's a more complicated system that Bob Hill makes his players play under, and Pooh's had a little trouble getting into it.
Biggest lead of the night, Indiana by 13. Just under 3 minutes remaining first half. Doing again, drawing the double team. Nice ball movement.
He's got to make those open shots, though. The Knicks did everything well in response to the double teaming.
Charles Smith is now 1 of 5. Call away from the ball. Ewing very upset as he collects his 3rd, and he was in the face of the official, Joe DeRosa, and maybe closing in on a technical, although he is handling it here in low-key fashion. At first he was very explosive, but the officials do not like players to linger around and discuss it. We'll be right back.
Jeff Finley is back. Amonte and then Cheetoff move in. Amonte and then Cheetoff.
2.5 remaining in this first half. Shot clock at 10. Oakley knocked it away. Good play by Charles. Starks ahead of the field. Pacers 51, the Knicks 40. And the official blows the whistle. Apparently they want to reset the clock. Malik Sealy is getting set to make his return. Problem with the game clock. Also the announcement. Looks like there are several other officials in the stands who have brought their own whistles and are blowing them, and on the public address they have asked fans to refrain from that, which really has worked extremely well. A cynical crowd here in Indianapolis.
You know, Marv, I think this is the biggest crowd we have seen in our many visits to Indiana over the years. Each place full, I believe.
They say upwards of 15,000. They've averaged about 12.3. Capacity is 16.5. Sam Mitchell. Rick Smith's getting inside, and it will count. It's a goaltend, and Rick Smith is burning it up in this first half. He now has 16.
Well, it looked like Herb Williams made a hasty judgment as that ball was not headed into the basket, but Herb came along and in response to Smith's hot hand tried to knock it away, but too late.
Indiana up 53-40. Marv Albert, John Andres from Market Square Arena. Shot clock at 5. Blackman had to force it. Good defense by Indiana. Richardson on the run, and he's fouled. It counts. The basket counts. He was hacked by Anthony.
Well, Bob Hill said our team is a running team before the game, and they are into it. He had to remind them, and they came out in the first half, and they are running. Smith's intimidation on Blackman's shot ignited that break for Richardson.
Anthony called for his 3rd foul. Pooh Richardson completing the 3-point play. 5 for Richardson. Biggest lead of the night. Pacers by 16 with 1:15 remaining. First half coming up at halftime. Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk, and he'll be talking with one-time Giant All-Pro as Anthony is able to connect with a good move. Harry Carson. And And they will discuss the Ray Handley firing that took place earlier today. That's coming up on the MSG Sports Desk. Bob and Harry Carson. Richardson forced it. And Herb Williams with the rebound. Miller back. Starks on a pull-up. Going glass. Indiana 56. The Knicks 44.
A lovely move by Starks instead of forcing the drive.
Knicks going with a three-guard setup. Richardson beat his man and found Davis. That is taking advantage and finding the open man.
Well, they are responding so well to double teams by the Knicks, and the Knicks aren't getting the proper rotation. Too many open people on the Pacers team behind or lower than the foul line.
An indication of how well Indiana has played in this first half. They have accumulated 21 assists. That is a high number. 19 all last night of the loss to the Knicks. Well, time runs out. Well, no, apparently the buzzer went. 9/10 of a second remaining.
Well, he beat the clock, certainly,
Yeah.
Marv. Good response by Malik.
Some confusion at the scorer's table, and the Knicks take a 20-second timeout. It will be Nick Ball with 9/10 of a second remaining in this first half. Well, this program is authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated is prohibited. Reminder, coming up at halftime on the MSG Sports Desk, Bob Page with former Giant Harry Carson taking a look at the Ray Handley firing that took place earlier today. And they will speculate on possible successors to Ray Handley. Any guesses, John?
I just know what I read, Marv. Same couple of names all the time.
Indiana by 14. They've changed it to 1 2/10 seconds remaining. Starks gets it off. Strong first half for the Pacers. They lead the Knicks 58-44 off the shooting of Rick Smits. 8 of 10 from the field for 16 points. Marv Albert, John Andres back at the Market Square Arena in Indianapolis. Big crowd on hand, and they have certainly enjoyed what they. Pat Riley will start out with Charles Smith, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing up front, Greg Anthony, Rolando Blackman in the backcourt. Quite a difference from last night when Rick Smits played only 20 minutes. Hardly played in the second half because Bob Hill was so dissatisfied with his play, but not the case tonight. 18 minutes in the first half, 8 of 10 from the field. That's a 3 for Reggie Miller. And Indiana's first three-pointer of the game. 61-44. The Pacers on top.
That's Reggie's 35th three of the season.
Anthony played by Richardson. Smith with the step. And he was hammered. Charles Smith will go to the line. Fouled by Smith.
Knicks need a perfect second half now. They've got to do it at both ends, and they have not shown in the first half, at any rate, that they have it tonight. They're just not playing up to their home level, and they're falling into this road trap once again. So they've got to lift it up with a big effort now.
On the road, the Knicks have won 4 and lost 8, in contrast to the 13 out of 14 at Madison Square Garden. Knicks will be back at the Garden Saturday afternoon to go up against Mark Jackson and the Los Angeles Clippers, who have had their difficulties as of late. Knicks lost to the Clippers in Los Angeles 101-91 back on the 19th of November, sparked by Mark Jackson, and Kiki Vandeweghe also had a good one. Shot clock at 3, 2, 1. 24-second violation. It is expected that Doc Rivers will be available to play on Saturday. Doc sitting out for the second straight game after injuring his shoulder in the game in Milwaukee on Saturday night. So Greg Anthony making his second straight start. That pass from Blackman was thrown off the mark. Schrempf for Smits. And Oakley with the box out.
Greg Anthony led the Knicks in time on the court in the first half of 19 minutes. Ewing only 11 minutes.
We're just underway in the third quarter. Here's Ewing. And Smith plays the back tap. Gets it over to Anthony. Yes. Indiana 61. The Knicks 48. Smith's called for the charge.
Smith's getting that ball with plenty of room in front of him, and Greg Anthony offered himself up and got in Smith's way. Smith's committing his third foul now. Again, the temptation to give the big man the ball when he has to dribble it is one that should be avoided.
Greg Anthony going against the 7'4", 265-pound Rick Smits, taking that charge. Shot clock at 6. Here's Smith. He's been off. And they will jump it up. Oakley and Schrempf will go on the jump. This is the second of 4 meetings between these two clubs. They met last night at the Garden. Last year, the Knicks won 3 out of 4. Knicks have won the last 4 games. Reggie Miller controlling. Richardson and Miller in the backcourt. Smith, Schrempf, Davis up front. Schrempf with the head fake. Smith able to stay with him.
Smith moves his feet well on defense.
Whoa. And Darryl Garrison calling the foul on Oakley. And you can see Reggie Miller shaken up.
Did he call a foul, Marv?
No, apparently did not call a foul. At first, I thought he indicated it.
Oakley was just being Oakley.
Yeah, he
just standing there.
Apparently the call was last touched by the Knicks. And it will be Indiana ball 3 on the shot clock. Reggie Miller shaken up, but now apparently okay.
Unusual play with all that contact and no foul being called.
Ewing getting ahead of the field after that errant shot by Smith. Pacers by 11. Indiana calls for time. 8:50 to go in the third.
8:50 left in the third quarter. Rick Smits from Eindhoven, Holland, featuring our Dutch boy in the paint information. Rick Smits right now having an excellent game. The Pacers also in rebounding ahead of the Knicks and in scoring down low, led by Rick Smits.
Now Schrempf posting on Smith. Nice pass from Smits. Davis missed the layup.
Knicks have tightened things up now in the third quarter.
Yes, the Knicks showing some signs last couple of minutes. Now Pat Riley screaming for more movement.
Ewing getting in trouble, it seems, every time he puts the ball on the floor.
And Miller is fouled. That's number 4 on Ewing.
That's why coaches like their players who have the ability to do it, to drive to the basket. It puts great pressure on the defense, and the Pacers have to be delighted that Patrick Ewing is the recipient of this pressure. It'll drive him right now to the bench with Herb Williams checking in.
Indiana's led by as many as 17. They now lead by 12. And here's Herb Williams. Herb played 13 minutes in the first half, hit 2 out of 2 for 4 points. That because of the Ewing foul trouble. Indiana 63, the Knicks 50. And a 3-second violation.
Boy, Daryl Garrettson real tough on that call because there was some banging going on with Shrimp and Charles Smith. And Smith stopped to get his breath for a second, and then it was a 3-second call on him.
Miller. Well, with the Knicks showing some signs of coming back, the Indiana Pacers have turned it up a notch once again and now lead by 15.
Scoring burden now falls on Blackman and Charles Smith.
And Charles Oakley able to hit for a second field goal.
Seems like such a bonus when Charles Oakley takes the shot and makes it these days. He's so reluctant to shoot. The Knicks will need him now.
Miller's reverse went short. Anthony on the run. 3 Pacers getting back. And Riley looking for more ball movement. Oakley sets the pick. Anthony goes to the left hand. He tried to beat the 7-4 Smiths,
but he doesn't take it to the rim.
Here's Davis. Smith with the rebound. Shot clock at 10. Down to 5. Blackman. Blackman's shooting has been off here tonight. John Starks and Anthony Mason getting set to come on. Knicks on the run. Anthony around Miller. Yes, and it counts. Reggie Miller made light contact. He was surprised that Anthony accelerated.
Anthony used that right hand nicely as well on this move. Greg Anthony makes this break happen. Fades right for a moment as if he's going to give it up and then charges to the basket. Nicely done by Greg.
LaSalle Thompson getting set to check in. He'll replace Dale Davis. The Knicks now have Herb Williams up front with Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason. Greg Anthony, John Starks at the guards. 3-point play for Anthony, who's played well again here tonight.
Greg, however, did not go to the foul line at all in the first half. Last night he went to the line 15 times.
Indiana with a 10-point lead. Miller beating Starks. Rebound Williams. Six minutes remaining in the third. It's a leg block on Miller. Knicks get the new 24. So the Knicks with the 11-4 spurt. Indiana led by as many as 17 points. Smith's jumping out on Anthony, who shoots over him. Greg Anthony with the long jumper with Rick Smith's defending.
There's some cohesion now by the Knicks. They're showing some togetherness out there.
It's an 8-point Indiana lead. Foul is called as Smiths try to get position on Williams. Herb Williams picks it up.
Knicks need Herb also to present himself as a target on offense. He can get things done. He's demonstrated it.
Anthony got picked off. Richardson gives it back out to Thompson. Here's Miller. Fouled by Starks. Starks getting a piece of Miller as he whipped by. third team foul committed by the Knicks. So Reggie Miller to the free throw line for, as they say here, your Pacers.
No question about the possessiveness of the fans here.
Possessiveness. And George McLeod comes on for poor Richardson.
George played 6 minutes in the first half, coming off that ankle injury.
Indiana 67. New York Knicks 57. McLeod applying some pressure on Anthony. Anthony leaves McLeod behind him. Feeds Williams. Herb Williams with the jump shot. 8-point Indiana lead. McLeod going for the steal. Got fooled on the dribble move by Anthony and lost his balance. Oakley stepping out. He steals from Miller. Bob Hill can't believe no foul was called. Here's Oakley. So Charles on a putback, and the crowd reacting. Reggie Miller appeared to take a shot on the bridge of the nose as Oakley made the steal, but there was no call. Bob Hill out towards center court arguing the call, and LaSalle Thompson, of all people, tries to settle him down. We'll be right back. To move within 6 of the Pacers, and a good play by John Starks. He felt he deflected it off one of the Pacers. Looked like that call was about to be made. The officials conferred, and they said no, last touch by Starks, so it will be Indiana ball. Knicks have come roaring back. They were down by as many as 17. They've hit 7 of 13 from the field here in the third quarter. Charles Oakley has been a major factor. McLeod, Indiana 69, and the Knicks 61. Oakley up front with Williams and Mason. Anthony and Starks in the backcourt. Williams backing Smith. Anthony to the hook. Greg Anthony hitting on the baby hook. He now has 15 points.
Greg not afraid to work down low with the big guys. Herb Williams picked him out nicely.
Anthony on the foul, and looked like Oakley and McLeod had some words.
Last move for the Knicks now. Herb Williams sees a double team. Anthony responds with a nice cut and a nicely executed soft shot.
Fourth foul on Greg Anthony, who has played extremely well under control as a true point guard. 2 straight solid games for Anthony. Orlando Blackman, those come on.
No turnovers for Greg in the first half, and only 1 in 38 minutes last night.
Beautiful tough angle jump shot by Detlef Schrempf. Indiana 71. The Knicks 63. 3.5 remaining in the third. Herb Williams. Loose ball foul called on the Knicks. It's on Oakley. That's only his first. But the Knicks are now over the foul limit. Crowd reacting in collective puzzlement as it was announced that was Charles' first foul. Malik Sealy returns. He's played well again tonight. And Detlef Schrempf to the line.
Detlef has the unique distinction of being the only NBA player in 3 categories in the top 25 in rebounding, assists, and scoring, showing how versatile he is and how good he is at so many things on the court.
Indiana leads by 10. McLeod all over Starks. Blackman played by Sealy. Starks. Williams with the rebound. Herb Williams getting inside. Indiana 73, Knicks 65. Starks with the steal.
That's the John Starks that Pat Riley remembers. He made his mark defensively. That was a fine play, reaching around Sealy.
Mason getting the step. He was fouled. Schrempf came over to help out. So that's 3 on Schrempf. And Anthony Mason will go to the free throw line.
Difference here in the second half is that the Knicks aren't being denied, it seems. When they go to their offensive end, they're getting something done every time. The problem is the Pacers at the other end. They're continuing to play so well offensively. Meanwhile, the Knicks are doing a great job with Patrick Ewing on the bench with his four fouls.
Here's Dale Davis replacing Rick Smits. Smits did not score in the third, 16 at halftime. Indiana by 6. McLeod handling against Starks. Williams chest to chest with Thompson and takes it away from him. The steal by Herb Williams going right at LaSalle Thompson. Now Williams trying to post up. Here's Herb Williams. Welcome back to Indiana, Herb.
As far as the Knicks are concerned, but he's killing the Pacers.
10 points on 5 out of 6 from the floor. 5 rebounds for Williams. The Knicks are within 4. And the Pacers turn it over. So the Knicks take over. Bob Hill trying to settle his club down. Just under 2 minutes remaining. Third quarter.
You never know when your star goes out how the team is going to react. And Pat Riley's got to be delighted with what he's seeing with Ewing on the bench.
Here's Starks. And a loose ball foul is called. Oh, Mason shoving the ball into the chest of Thompson. Herb Williams called for the foul. There is no great love between several Knicks and LaSalle Thompson. Remember the incident last year? LaSalle Thompson got involved with Xavier McDaniel. And as I mentioned, LaSalle, like Charles Oakley, has had his share of hard hits during his NBA career.
The Knicks now come into every NBA arena known as tough guys, intimidators. And there are those on other teams who feel the same way about themselves, so they respond in kind.
Dale Davis throwing a brick on that first attempt. Indiana 74, the Knicks 69. Minute and a half remaining in the third quarter. Knicks have come back strong in the third, trailing by as many as 17. Blackman for 3, yes. Rolando Blackman trying to regain the touch, and he's brought the Knicks within 2. Schrempf at the baseline closed, and a blocking foul called. Blocking foul on Oakley.
Well, Pat Riley feels Oakley made a terrific play. The contact was incidental. We'll take a look at Oakley now. Baseline move. Of course, if you're a Knicks follower or fan, you feel that the right arm of Detlef Schrempf committed the foul, not Oakley.
It has been another quiet night for Schrempf. He's had only 5 shots, 2 out of 5. Here's Pooh Richardson replacing George McLeod. Schrempf now 4 out of 5 from the foul line. Indiana by 3. Richardson pressing Starks. Just under 1 minute remaining in the third. Williams, not a good shot, but fielded by Oakley. 10 on the 24. Knicks still have time on this possession. Starks for 3. Yes. Well, the three-pointer has returned to the Knicks arsenal. Blackman a moment ago, and now Starks. And the game is tied at 75. Bob Hill calling for a timeout with only 40 seconds to go. in the third. Apparently a 20-second timeout is being used.
Surprised that Bob would use his one for the second half at this point with an entire quarter to go.
Last night, Indiana ran out of timeouts at the end of the game. So the game is tied at 75, and the Knicks have done it with the three-point shot as opposed to last night. And the Knicks in Milwaukee on Saturday only 1 for 7 from three-point land.
Our AT&T long-distance shooting shows you the contrast from last night to tonight. Total of 4 in the game tonight, only 1 last night, and that was by the Pacers' Malik Sealy.
40 seconds remaining, third quarter. Here's Miller for 3. And Thompson keeps it alive. Down to 25 seconds in the third. Trent checking the clock. Davis way off. And a loose ball foul. It's on Starks, called for a hold with 11 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Knicks over the limit, so that will send Thompson to the line. Starks called for his second foul. LaSalle Thompson, only a 60% free throw shooter.
LaSalle getting a much longer run tonight than he did last evening in New York. He's only been playing an average of 10 minutes a game for the Pacers this season.
Patrick Ewing left the game some 7.5 minutes ago after picking up his 4th foul, and as it turns out during that stretch, the Knicks have outscored the Pacers 25-11. Final seconds of the quarter. Blackman gets it off. A strong turnaround by the Knicks here in the third. After 3, Pacers, who led by as many as 17, now show a 1-point advantage. Giant All-Pro linebacker Harry Carson. They'll be discussing the Ray Handley firing, a look at the NBA highlights, and a look at the college scene featuring the Kentucky St. John's Holiday Festival championship game. Knicks with a 31-18 advantage in the third quarter, and they are down by only 1 after trailing by as many as 17 points.
Marv, this has happened here before in Indiana. I can recall Ewing getting in foul trouble in the past, and Charles Oakley, as a matter of fact, becoming a major part of a comeback as he was here tonight. And it was a tremendous spark. For some reason, you just can't figure this thing out when it happens, how a team comes together many times when the star player leaves the game, and it happened here in the third quarter.
Knicks with a very aggressive third quarter, turning it around off the boards. Blackman not able to connect on that lead pass. Pat Riley now has Blackman and Starks in the backcourt. Williams up front with Oakley and Mason. Rick Smits is back. Miller for Schrempf. Off the head fake. And it's handled by Starks. Knicks trail by 1 as this fourth quarter gets underway. Oakley wide open. Mason double team. Blackman from deep. Yes. It's another three-pointer for Rolando. His second of the game, and the Knicks lead by 2. And this represents their biggest lead of the night. Davis. And the call is he threw it away. Detlef Schrempf trying to give the impression that it was deflected out by the Knicks, but it will be Knick ball. First time the Knicks have led since the first quarter. Here's Williams. Oh, Herb Williams on fire. You know, you can't take him out. And obviously that is Pat Riley's thought.
Well, with Ewing with 4 fouls, I mean, the Knicks couldn't be getting more out of the center position than they are getting with Herb Williams.
The only way you take him out is because of the fatigue factor. It's tipped home. Davis with the tip. Knicks lead 80-78. Here is Oakley. Rebounded by Richardson. Gets it down to Miller. On the run. Oh, what a play by Blackman to knock it away.
Yes, he confronted Miller face to face and got his hand on all ball and broke that play up. Orlando attacks Miller now as Miller tries to cross the ball over to his right hand. Reggie not happy.
Here is Greg Dreiling making his first appearance of the game, replacing Rick Smits. Charles Smith will check in a moment. Miller. And Davis comes away with it off the scramble. Shrimp was fouled. Starks extending the leg and called for the foul. Charles Smith for Charles Oakley. Oakley with 6 points, 6 rebounds. A number of outstanding efforts by the Knicks in that third quarter run. Oakley, one of the players who helped bring them back, along with Greg Anthony, who sat down after he picked up his 4th foul. A couple of three-pointers by Rolando Blackman. John Starks has played well.
Charles Oakley has played much bigger than his statistics tonight.
And Herb Williams, a major contributor. The one-time Indiana Pacer has 12 points, 5 rebounds. Williams has hit 6 out of 8 from the field. Knicks 80 and the Pacers 79. 2.5 gone by in the 4th quarter. Mason posting up on Davis. Can't find the shot, and it's stolen by Richardson. Davis. Recovered by Davis.
Davis, like Oakley, is an excellent offensive rebounder. Knicks have got to put some concentration on keeping him off the boards.
Reggie Miller. Dreiling with the rebound. Indiana getting the new 24. Shrimp picked up on a switch by Mason. And Shrimp gets another opportunity. 3 consecutive possessions by Indiana. Shrimp off the dribble, rejected. Dreiling gets to it. Richardson. And finally, Herb Williams rebound. 4 straight chances by Indiana. John, they had the power play going, I believe. They had the ball for 1 minute and 15, we're told.
They got a couple of good bounces, too.
Knicks with a 80-79 lead. 4 minutes gone by. In the 4th quarter, this has turned out to be a good one. Second of the home-and-home series between the Knicks and the Pacers. Now Miller post up on Blackman is fouled.
Rolando with some kind of message to Reggie Miller. Didn't seem to be of an aggressive nature.
And Patrick Ewing makes his return. See the numbers. Knicks outscoring the Pacers 30-14 with Ewing on the bench the last 12 minutes, 45 seconds. One of the ironies of the game, obviously, Pat Riley would much prefer having Patrick Ewing on the floor, but Herb Williams played so well. Greg Dreiling now hears it from the crowd, instrumental in getting to several loose balls off that flurry that kept it alive for Indiana.
Well, the point of Williams reminds me of Greg Brittenham, the Knicks strength coach, telling me some weeks ago after the Dennis Rodman made such an impression on the Knicks. Herb Williams, like Rodman, after a game goes to work hard on the bike and other activities to make himself stronger and ready for these situations.
Oh, Ewing and Smith started to go. Davis looks to get involved. Shrimp also very angry. Patrick Ewing and Rick Smits. And Rick Smits is one who usually does not get involved. In fact, that has been the criticism, that he's been
The placid guy. Placid guy.
And let's see how they handle it. Crowd here wants Ewing to be ejected, of course. It looks like, yes, a double technical. I don't think there'll be any cause for ejection because no punches were thrown, just pushing and shoving. Well, they say double fouls, and Ewing will go to the bench after picking up his fifth.
Ewing was boxed out by Rick Smits and couldn't escape him. It's a rare time that Ewing feels so enveloped by another guy, and I think he was very frustrated by the contact Smits was putting on him. He just couldn't escape his grasp, and he's also been frustrated by being on the bench this evening.
And John, it was not a double technical, as I mentioned, a double personal foul, which in this case is more damaging because it's number 5 on Ewing. Smits has 4. Shot clock at 5. 3-second violation called on Smits. 7:08 remaining in the fourth quarter. Indiana 81, the Knicks 80.
We have reached a point now where both teams are playing at their absolute most intense defensively.
Anthony and Starks in the backcourt. Smith, Mason, Williams now up front. Here's Smith. Yes, good position by Charles Smith to hit the short-range jump. And the Knicks take a 1-point lead. Reggie Miller with the head fake. John Starks did not go for it. Miller trying to do it off the dribble. Well, he forced it, but it's tipped home by Davis.
Got to be boxed out. The Knicks are allowing Davis room. He's too good a jumper.
18 points and 12 rebounds for Dale Davis, second-year man out of Clemson. And a foul is called. Indiana collapsing on Smith, and Trent caught him. But we hit him in the throat. Indiana calling for time. 6:16 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Getting furious under the basket. Moments ago, Smits and Ewing were tied up. And of course, the peacemakers come in, as Detlef Schrempf did, and that ignited the situation. This is a year ago. Last season, Feb 12 here in Indiana as well. Patrick Ewing and Schrempf get into some heavy blows on this one. Until both of them are tied up, they became boxers.
And both were tossed out. Patrick Ewing has had more than his share of fisticuffs with Indiana players earlier in his career. Went up against Steve Stepanovich. Had something going with Greg Dreiling at one point. But Patrick Ewing sitting down after picking up his 5th foul. Herb Williams back on. Herb Williams squaring up. Yes, Herb Williams again. He's 7 of 9. He has 14 points. And the Knicks lead 84-83. Rick Smits has been blanked in the second half after the 16 of the first half. 5.5 remaining in the game. Knicks with the ball. They've come back from a 17-point deficit. They lead by 1. Shot clock at 7. Williams. Smits on the rebound.
Getting so surprising when Herb misses his shot.
Herb Williams has that awkward-looking one-hander, but has a good touch. Here's Smits. That's his first field goal the second half. Indiana leads 85-84. Just under 5 minutes remaining of the game. Starks. Oh, he's clobbered by Davis. And here we go again. Anthony Mason went at Dale Davis. Greg Anthony steps in. That's the second time tonight that John Starks has been hammered.
I think it's ridiculous, Marv, that every time a player gets hit, a Knicks player has to go over and defend the situation. It's just a tremendous overreaction. It's unnecessary, and it only ignites further problems. Who's the tough guy? Is everybody a tough guy? So he got fouled.
Well, I don't agree with you here. Well, I think this is it's gotten to the point, even though the Knicks are a very rough, physical team, Indiana's trying to send a message, but you got to protect the player here.
How are you protecting him?
Well, you got to show that you got to show that you don't accept this.
You do it at the other end.
When a player, that's easy to say, but in the heat of the action,
yes, I agree with you partially, but it's just getting sickening watching this constantly. Everybody flexing their muscles after a hard play.
That's a bad foul. That's
no worse
bordering on ejection.
No worse than the other fouls the Knicks performed too.
I say the Knicks are certainly guilty, but tonight we're seeing a situation where you're not measuring other fouls. You take it for what what you see, and that was pretty bad. Oh, what a play by Davis on the rejection. Knicks lead by 1. John Starks there, but
he loves contact.
Shot clock down to 5. Williams is on Schrempf off a switch. And it's deflected out by Smith. John, you get the idea. You're watching a game out of early NBA, out of the 50s. It has been a tremendous physical matchup. A couple of near fights. Several flagrant fouls. Knicks have come back from 17 down. Lead by 1. 4 minutes remaining in the game. Smith with a drop step. Beautiful move. Indiana, 87. The Knicks, 86.
Smith really used his height advantage on that move.
Mason. Foul pushed by Schrempf. And that is number 5 on Schrempf.
Tough for Anthony Mason to get shots off against the taller Pacers underneath. Fortunately, able to draw the foul.
Mason is 4 of 4 from the foul line, a 69% free throw shooter. The Knicks with a record of 17-9. They come in on top in the Atlantic, leading Orlando and New Jersey by 2.5 games. So Mason is tied in at 87. And now Patrick Ewing making his way to the scorer's table. He will check back in, as will Charles Oakley. Schrempf broken up by Mason. Good play denying the pass. Ewing and Oakley for Williams and Smith. 8 points for Smith, along with 7 rebounds. Williams 14 points in a sensational effort off the bench. Miller lost it.
The Knicks have made such an adjustment defensively inside the foul line in the second half.
Game tied at 87. We come up on 3 minutes remaining of the game. Darryl Garretson with the call. Holding foul on Smith. That is number 5 on Smith. Indiana with its 4th team foul. The Knicks with only 2. And a timeout taken by Pat Riley. 3:06 to go. 4th quarter. We'll be right back.
Tied at 89, Greg Anthony, another good offensive game.
unbreaks the last tie with a jumper.
Finally, in the closing minutes, when the fouls don't matter as much, and he's an animal on the boards, battling over Smith and Davis, getting the hook, and the former Knicks coach losing again to his old team. The Knicks complete the home and home. Herb Williams filled in for Ewing and had 15 coming off the bench. Anthony had 19 starts with 15 as the Knicks get a big night out of Anthony back in the starting lineup now and helping them their second straight win.